Hey everyone, you have reached the landing, OnePlanet's weekly meeting place for the entire Polygon NFT community. Every week at this time, you will learn more about the Polygon network, its native token Matic, and discuss the wonderful world of NFTs with some of the best and brightest minds from the NFT universe. And now, here's your host.
Planet's the place to be to showcase your NFTs. Best blockchain is Polygon. OnePlanet want to be on, yeah.
I feel like at the end, we're just getting started this year, right? But at the end of the year, just to see how much we've grown and how much this community has grown, it's going to be exciting. And just to see just the whole process, right? How everything works out once we're in December again and starting a new year. But today, the goal is to discuss a little bit about what the impact of AI is going to be around NFTs. And I think that's a perfect topic today because we have PS Labs here who they have been experimenting with that technology for a while now. And so they can share some of their experience. But aside of that, we also want to hear from Narb and have him share the news on what Polygon has been having with their statistics in the last week. And then we also have Ghost here who's going to bring us some of the statistics with the NFTs on the OnePlanet marketplace. And just want to give a shout out to some of our community members here. Department 77, I see you got a new color in your logo. I like that yellow. I didn't recognize it in the beginning, but now I see it. So shout out to that. We got Shantastic in the house. We got Stone Island. We got some new members here. Pack, Stages of Life. We got Nokas, Muscle Mice. Pretty cool. So thank you guys for coming out here. As the topic today being impact of AI and NFTs, I'm curious about the listeners. What do you guys see in the future in AI and NFTs? Share a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on that. And I kind of want to start off with that. Matic, man, how are you doing today? And how are you feeling about all these conversations around AI?
Well, first of all, I think I would be remiss if I didn't give a warning. We need to be in a safe place. We need to be get everything back, get it buckled down because there's a purple tidal wave coming to Web3. Do you feel it, man? It's incredible. The momentum, the excitement. Man, we're getting ready to see some things happen in 2023 that are going to
be safe out there.
Blow it. Am I right, Narb? Man, big things are coming. Yeah, big things are coming. So, yeah, I'm excited. And wow, PS Labs, what they're going to bring, what they're unleashing on the NFT world on the 17th of this month, that art is absolutely next level. So, yeah, I'm excited, Edwin, about what AI is bringing to the table. And I messaged PS Labs a few days ago. They have some of the best art I've ever seen in any collection. So I think it's going to be an incredibly blue chip project. So we're excited about having PS Labs here. Always good to be in the presence of the GOAT, Narb, and Ghost. We love your community. Ed, when I was in that space with the Utes yesterday that the Rekt Gang was hosting, and some guy followed me, and then he got up to speak, and they said, like, this is the actor from, like, the Twilight series, like, Edwin. I'm not. Anyway, it's incredible, man, what's happening with Polygon. This is great.
Yeah. I know that the Rekt Gang has been friends with that actor that you mentioned for a while. They've been working with him, and I know he's hosted some spaces to have them come in and talk to his community as well. But yeah, yesterday was a fun space to talk with the youths. Their sub DAOs or their clubs. I think that's the name that they're calling their sub DAOs. But it was cool to engage with them and learn a little bit more about what they're doing, and also talk to Kevin DGods a little bit as well. And so we are planning to put together in the future a space with the the projects that migrated from Terra and that are on the OnePlanet marketplace right now, and introduce them to Kevin and to the youth community as well, just to focus Twitter Space for that. So we'll definitely keep everyone updated for that. That way we can just continue to collaborate with them, right, as they get onboarded onto Polygon. Narb, how are you doing today, man? And what are your thoughts around the AI wave that's going on as well?
GM, everyone. Honestly, I'm not too deep into the world of AI. I've just been sort of experimenting with that. What's it called? The Chat GPT or Chat G, whatever it is. I've been playing around with that, and that's pretty impressive. But I'm not super, deep into that world. That's kind of why I'm excited to listen to PS Labs here, sort of get more in depth with it. I do see a comment down below that says, from Stone Island, that says AI is going to take over the world. Stay calm and smoke weed. So I don't know. Maybe he's onto something. We'll see.
Yes, I agree. I think that is probably one of the best approaches to take, because that technology is moving pretty fast as well. I feel like every time that I'm checking YouTube or even on Twitter, like there's always something about AI. So I see a lot of people experimenting with the chat, and also like thinking about ways to automate a lot of different things, right? And just seeing ways to make money. They call it passive income, but you still got to put in some work. But anyways, yeah, it's been interesting to see all of that. Ghost, how are you doing today, man? And what do you think about AI and NFTs?
Hey, how's it going? AI regarding NFTs, I mean, I've seen it kind of blossom from last year going into now, and I'm a holder of the original Citizens on Stargaze, and seeing the collection from then and then seeing what PS Labs is pumping out now, it's like graduation. You're getting close to a PhD in AI art. The details I've seen on the different classes, it's amazing.
Yeah, and
Oh, thank you so much. Cheers. We have spent since the original one, I think in May, we've been working on this collection. Since then, we've re-rendered the whole thing. My team hate me because I'll just come into the studio some days and just delete the entire collection, and then we start again. Just because like new technology comes out and I'm like, okay, yeah, we can't release this anymore because there's a new AI model that's even better. So we just delete the whole collection, start again, and we've done that like about 4 times, I think 4 or 5 times. We even like got to the point of retouching the entire collection, like thousands of them, and then just deleting the entire collection again. And then through that like sort of iterative process, which I guess is kind of similar to how AI works anyway, we have really like landed on like this really, really rich culture collection with like, it's got like over 11, I'd say it's 11 species in it, but within those sort of like species there are like more species. So it's like, for example, like 11 races, and within, for example, ungulate, you've got like pigs, giraffes, sheep, a whole bunch of other ones. Can't remember them off the top of my head. And within the apes, you don't just have gorillas. We've got all these little sorts of what they call like eyes and baboons and I can't remember it. It's very late for me right now, so I'm not going to be as sharp as I am in the mornings. But there's really a lot of characters in there. We definitely made sure that like there's not too much of anything, and that we try to represent with the original Citizens. I tried to have this sort of. I think one of the best ways someone described it to me once was it's like that scene in Star Wars in the bar, where they walk into the bar and then there's just like aliens from like all around the universe in there, and they all look totally different to each other, and there's like a jazz band playing as well. Like we want to create like that feeling when people look at the collection and explore it, just being thrown into this like alien world, which is really rich. And I hope that's what we achieve. Everyone will be able to see the full collection, hopefully on the end of the day on the 17th if we mint out. But yeah, I appreciate your comments, man. We worked really hard, and I've got a lot of insight on AI NFTs as well, which this is what the talk today is about. So I guess I will like sort of let people ask questions first, and then I guess pitch in with sort of what I think on a topic there, rather than initiate any kind of a topic of conversation within it, because I have an opinion on probably most things within AI. I think actually, sorry, I am going to start with an opinion. The most interesting part of all of this is the sort of the counterculture to AI NFTs, because it, as you said, Stoned Island, like everyone just sit back and smoke weed. I think it does scare a lot of people, and it definitely scares me. Like even when new stuff comes out, I'm like, Jesus, this is good. Like what are people meant to do? So I think a big area of discussion, and probably something that over the next year we're going to see, is a lot of arguing, and maybe even new laws coming in around the world on how this stuff is regulated, how the use of data and content can be controlled, or if it even should be. And there's these sort of grey areas within AI which don't have any precedent yet. So for me, that's obviously, I've got my eye very closely on those sorts of areas. But in terms of actual what it can do, there's very few things left, I think, for still image to really tackle. It's pretty good at photorealism now. And then it still struggles a bit sometimes with like the face and the fingers and some details about the eyes. But that will be fixed very quickly. I reckon by a few months' time, the AI will be like have that down. But the randomness can sometimes be nice. I think where AI is really going to go, or where the big advances will be in 2023, is going to be in 3D models and AI-generated 3D assets. And that will essentially, you're going to see a lot more people creating metaverses, I think, in Web3 over next year. And obviously, AI-generated 3D assets are going to be a dream for game developers. Yeah. So I think 3D is where it'll move next, especially with the point cloud that OpenAI just released.
Yeah, let me ask a more of a specific question here. What was the process like for you to find the prompt that clicked, right? Because in order to get a similar feel for your collection, your avatars, what was that process like to come up with that final prompt?
That actually is really probably the main reason why we redid the collection so many times. That took like 3-4 months to come up with the prompt. And the prompt is it's not simple at all. It's like about 200 words, I think, for the citizens prompt. It's like crazy. And then there's sort of parts of it we separate up. When we started doing AI art, we had to like create a new language around basically new language around our workflow, because it was totally new. So we had to number one, we had to invent a workflow, and number two, we had to create a language around it so that we can communicate inside our teams so that everyone understands what we're talking about. So with the prompts, we created the term like cocktails, and then and then we basically add cocktails on one after the other, and then so we like batch like words together, groups of words together to create like certain effects. So we'll like batch like sets of 5 to 10 together. Then we use the front end of the prompt to do like the beginning of the prompting is always the most powerful. So you have to put like what you want, like a character, like a monkey riding a banana rocket. That should be like the main key visuals you want to see should always be the first sentence. And then after that, you prompt things like the background. So you say something like, with candy floss clouds, pink candy floss clouds. And then after that, you'll then sort of prompt things like the camera setting you want, the way they are looking, or some mood. So it's like looking straight to camera, single point perspective, fish eye, wide angle. You prompt in like the sort of the framing and the techniques used. For example, in photography, there's something called low key or high key. High key would be something that's very bright, very white. Low key is something very dark and moody. We can use the words dark and moody, or we can use the like technical term for that, which is low key, or we can use both. We can say like low key, dark and moody, or we can say like low key, glittery, electrical energy, something like this, like just some crazy thing that will like look really cool when it's all put together. So the formula is kind of like thing you want to see, details around that thing, so like background, color, general color of the whole image if you want. So you can say like yellow cast, and then after that you then prompt in like sort of camera, almost I'll just say like camera settings, I guess. And then after that you then prompt in so that's like the first half of like, let's say, the citizens seed or cocktail, and then after that is just loads of combinations of things. So I'll put like volumetric lighting, 8K, FXXO shading, like, and then just like about 40 of them, and then we like put it all together, and then we start rendering the characters out. And then if we get and then that's basically, I've just given you guys a bit of the hot sauce. That's kind of how we go about constructing the prompting. Yeah. It's like cool. And that's where you get to. That's why it takes so long, because actually the bit at the beginning is easy, right? It's super easy to know what you want to see, but getting all the little details and making it all work together really well, so that you can render loads of things that are very different, but they all share the same aesthetic, is like very hard. So yeah, I mean, like AI at the very beginning is very easy for anyone to use, but actually to use it in the kind of the scale and the way that we use it is quite difficult actually. But that's just because we've got like just done it so many iterations, and just we have to like we've like designed workflows around it. So we can't hire anyone to do this stuff. Like no one knows how to do it. So we have to train every single person who comes into PS Labs on like how to do these things, because it's impossible to hire someone to do this.
Well, I think
so. It's been a interesting process.
That's the cool thing, right? That right now it's hard, but that's something that's going to change in this year, right? We're going to see a lot of people become experts in prompts and being able to adapt to something like what you're creating, and understand, the work that it takes and the process that it takes to come up with something as detailed as that, and also just to build consistency, to widen out the collection a little bit. Just wanted to check in, see if any of our other speakers here have any thoughts on that. And I wanted to just give a quick shout out to Running Man here. I've been listening to him on his spaces on Solana with Easy's crew. So if you got any questions, Running Man, feel free to come up and ask us. But yeah, any of the other speakers have questions here about the prompts that David was talking about?
I know what he's talking about. I had my X token, and just you have a picture in your mind, and you try to put as many words as possible to try to describe what you're seeing in your mind. Once you got your lab run come in, it doesn't quite match up, but I can see it being a difficult task when you have these characters like we're seeing now.
Yeah, by the way, the next thing we move on to is massive improvements in the lab. So hold on to those X tokens, because we're going to be changing the experience a lot. But you're right in the sense of it never comes out how you imagine, and that's like never actually been the case with me either. Like I've never got like something that I imagine, and that's actually like the excitement in using the AI. It's like, it's not, as everyone knows, it's not like typical art where like you are putting pen to like paper, and the thing you are making is the thing that you see in your head, or that you have imagined. So it's very much this sort of backwards and forwards, this constant trying again and again and again, and then just like 1 out of 10 times are good. And as you learn how to be like more concise with your words and your sort of vernacular around sort of imagery and image construction and semiotics improves, you are able to like sort of focus that in more and get better results or higher percentage results. Sorry, go on, Running Man, you're sticking your hand up.
How's it going, guys? All right. I've literally, obviously, most people know me from being an heavy trader on Solana. I've just, not to take it off subject, but I've just started researching heavily Polygon. I was on Polygon, before Solana NFTs ever existed, trading Edwin, etc. And talking to PS Labs was one of the first discos I found as I've started to, do the research. Going forward, I hope to be a big proponent for Polygon NFTs. I'll still be trading Solana, but I'll also be very active on Polygon, going forward through 2023. I think, just at the moment, I'm just trying to negotiate the space, get all the relevant alpha, the upcoming alpha, and just trying to get, just grounded on the network, basically, in terms of, the way I'm going to trade it going forward. So, yeah, I'll be jumping a lot of these spaces. And as I started, learn more, I'll be able to start adding more as well. So, looking forward to jumping on, some speaker panels with you.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy to hear that you're, being open-minded, right, to exploring. I think that's one thing that we've seen from a lot of the community members, from the youth especially, that they've been going into the discords of the Polygon projects and asking questions, and just being interested and curious, right? I think right now that's been the best part about the youth's announcement coming to Polygon. Just having people being curious about what's already here, right? Because there has been a lot of culture and a lot of NFTs here, but they've kind of just been under the radar.
Yeah, for sure. The thing is, there's a lot of backlash. Obviously, youths, them coming out to the network, so obviously it's in their interest to, obviously talk highly of it. There's been a bit of backlash at the moment because I think people only, I've been in the space a long time, so you need a good imagination. You need to visualize what will exist in 2 or 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and what, how the network will look then. People are like judging it on what it's looking like today, and they're missing the trick there. Because there's going to be some major, upscaling on this network going forward. I can see that. Solana, it's very, they talk about speed and let's talk about the, the blockchain. It is, very smooth, UI basically. But Polygon's specialising in the other side of Web3, which is the attention economy and social sentiment, and that is probably one of the most powerful parts of Web3. And it's basically currency, attention economy, then fundamentally putting all the resources and effort into that, and it's going to be a very powerful thing when it starts to gain traction. So I'm here for it, definitely. Basically, just researching everything about Polygon. So as I say, I'll be jumping into a lot of these spaces, and I'll be a big proponent in other spaces talking about Polygon, as I have been for the last couple of days.
Well, you're always welcome to come and hang out with us. We host this one weekly, and we have we're gonna go into a couple of segments right now that I think um, I find them very helpful. Maybe you'll find them helpful as well, and I hope our listeners here, can see the value of the stats as well. But yeah, Narb, let's start with you. Let's dive into a little bit of what's happening with the Polygon network.
Sure. So, yep, got some recent metrics and news here going on in the Polygon ecosystem. Starting on the metrics side, just some quick updates here. The Polygon POS chain recently passed 210 million total unique addresses. With their daily active addresses on a 7-day average is around 550,000 right now. And the Polygon average daily transactions over the last month was around 3 million, averaging around 3 million daily transactions for Polygon, which is higher than the BNB chain, Ethereum, Optimism, and Arbitrum. So pretty cool to be ahead of some of those chains. Also, Polygon DEX volume. So on the decentralized exchange side, Polygon DEX volume over the last 12 months reached over 50 billion. So it's really cool to see, some of that volume having on the decentralized side, not on the SEC side, but on the DEX side. And then some recent news here. We have, you guys probably saw, MasterCard is launching an artist accelerator on Polygon. And that is going to be based around teaching emerging artists how to build and own their brand through various Web3 experiences. So, yeah, MasterCard launching on Polygon, add another huge name to the list there. And that just keeps on growing. Obviously, Polygon, everyone talks about Polygon's BD team. We'll add another, plus one to that there. Also, what I want to shout out is that not a lot of people know about this, but the Polygon POS chain, which, by the way, for those who don't know, is the chain that is sort of the most used chain that everyone knows today. And that is going to go through an upgrade on January 17th. So we're only about a week away. January 17th is going to reduce some of the reorgs that happen on the chain, and also the rise of gas fees that happen during high traffic times somehow can be a little rigid. So they're going to smooth that out as well. So one of the biggest complaints towards the Polygon POS chain is that you'll hear a lot is about the reorgs. And this upgrade that's happening on January 17th is going to reduce that in a big way. So really cool to see some improvements happening on the POS chain there. Then lastly, just some spaces I wanted to shout out. So earlier today, the ZK EVM, which is sort of the new chain, the new scaling solutions that Polygon is working on and that everyone's really excited about. They had an update Twitter Spaces today on the Polygon ZK Twitter handle, so you should definitely check that out. We're getting really close to mainnet. And then lastly, I just want to give a shout out to an upcoming Twitter Space with Ryan Wyatt and the Rekt Gang. Shout out to the Rekt Gang, and that is happening on Friday. And yeah, that's all that I have.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Narb. I'm curious on your end, like you mentioned DeFi a little bit. Do you feel like uh, the onboarding of these new users coming on from Solana, like recently, do you feel like you've seen an uptake in also more people using DeFi, or do you feel like it's mostly been on the NFT side that we've seen a lot of people buying NFTs?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, with this recent use announcement, obviously, that's NFT related. So what we've been seeing, I would say, is more of an increase in NFT users and NFT activity across the board. Really not that much into DeFi, because a lot of these Solana community members are sort of exploring the Polygon ecosystem more on the NFT side. That's what they're interested in. But in general, though, what we've been seeing actually throughout this entire bear market, more within the last 6 months, is an increase overall with DeFi. So with DEXs and with a bunch of different DeFi protocols. So overall, we're seeing a huge increase of activity. The TVL is also starting to go back up for Polygon, which is really cool. So, I would imagine that, as this Solana community gets more engaged with Polygon and sort of explores the ecosystem, they're also going to, explore the DeFi ecosystem over time as well. Maybe they just start with NFTs and then explore more. That's what I'm hoping to see.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Running Man.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, we've saw an explosion of DeFi on Solana, the last month and a half, and it's ended with a resurgence in SPL token plays, etc. It's, in my opinion, the end of a tide cycle. It always comes at the end of a tide. It's just really feeling really tired. At Poly, I can really feel the birth of a new cycle here. I think I'm just about to go into one, or it's not far away. I've saw like the research. I've been in emerging markets before, and I was at the start of Solana. As a Solana trader, it gives me, good experience. Like the metas I'm going to develop. You're going to go through the PFP. I'm going to go through all the metas that Solana's gone through, probably in accelerated fashion. So I should be well versed in judging what projects are going to gain value and what aren't. What I would like to say is, on Poly, you need to attract traders like me. I can do 200x the volume of a recreational buyer per day. On Solana, we've got UIs, and we've got you've got NFT nerds on Ethereum, and you've got the replica is NFT soloist on Solana. Trading UIs to make that trading experience smooth. That's how you're going to attract volume in the Polygon space. I'm not sure if there's any exist at the moment, but I'd like to see a couple of solid aggregators or trading UIs as a trader. If you get that base core volume of traders, recreational buyers will follow, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and that was something that Kevin DeGotts mentioned yesterday too. That with NFT aggregators on Polygon, that will help to kind of put everything into one place, right? And to see how the performance goes with not just the PFPs, but also gaming. And I think that's one thing that sometimes like the rankings are a little bit weird because there's so many games here in Polygon already, and then they're taking up a lot of the transaction volume. Comparing them into the PFPs is definitely not the same. Before we get to you, Johnny, I want to check in with Ghost. I want to see what updates you got. I know that you started to release your thread with the updates before you come up here, but still, let's hear what you got for us, man.
Yes, sir. So, past week ending last night, we have the top 8 collections on OnePlanet. We have Hellcats still holding number 1 position on week 2 with a negative 3.14% floor price decrease to 823 Matic. Following up, still second place as well on week 2 with Hellhounds. No full price change, but we do know that they have their incoming mint, so we can probably expect less funds to swap around just with the impending mint coming in. Third place, holding strong as well, is my fellow Trippy Wolves. We had a 9.88% increase of floor price to 185 Matic. We have noticed a bunch of new people coming into our Discord, checking us out, checking all the interactions that we're doing on crypto Twitter, and it's paying off. Number 4, we have the highest increase in floor price for week 2, which is Derby Stars. Floor price went up by 32.38% to a floor price of 139 Matic. Next, we have Polygon Punks. We had a slight dip of 17.78% to floor price to 148 Matic. We have Dystopia AI, the Origin Collection, increase of 7.14% to floor price of 150. I did see that there's some mention of an airdrop impending. Who knows what's going on? We have the Tower Token, floor price just up slightly for 1.22% for floor price of 39.4769 Matic. And last but not least, we have Shantastic's Night Peasants with number 8. No change to floor price, but they did have one of the highest sales of this week. So highest sales this week, we have the Hound from Hellcats for a USD value of $3,434. Next, we have Hellcat 2443 for $2,769. Next, we have a Trippy Wolf 1785 from Rekt Gang for $1,027.66. And we have Knight number 3974 from Knights and Peasants for a whopping $472.40. Granted, the Knights were minted most for free and some for 12 Matic.
All right, thank
So
you.
we're seeing some of those funds coming through. It'll be interesting to track what funds are flowing from Solana over to Polygon.
Yeah, I can point to Derby Stars had a huge increase, right? And one thing that I noticed is that they released details on their tokenomics, and I feel like that created a bit of a better understanding of how that would work, because I think most of the holders were afraid of the Axie Infinity tokenomics, and so I think it seems like they switched one of their tokens to be non-tradable, and so one of them is the only one that they'll be able to interact with on chain, and I think that gave them some optimism to buy into some more horses. But yeah, that was a huge spike for them. And
it was nice seeing all the transactions going through in the past week. I can see that more and more people are getting interested in Polygon NFTs. Once more liquidity is present, we have tax season coming in the U.S. coming in. We got extra cash might be flowing around soon, so we might see a pump soon.
yeah, and then we got a bunch of new projects that are going to be minting in the OnePlanet Launchpad this month too. So I think that would bring more attention to the other projects that are already here. Shantastic, they have a correction. She said free or 6 Matic for the Knights and Peasants NFTs. So thanks, Shan, for correcting that.
Thanks, Shan.
So Johnny, what's going on, man? How are you doing today?
Oh, it's going good. We got the lemonade out here. Feeling good, feeling rejuvenated. Took a nice little nap today. I stayed up way late last night. I was trying to go to sleep early, but had some meetings. Talked to Sandeep a little bit offline. And man, I am really bullish on some stuff that we're working on. And it really is like a pleasure to like be able to like be around a team that like really cares about their chain and like making it better in any way possible and making like the creator experience better. So like if you're a creator here and thinking about coming over here to Polygon, like bullish. It's the place to be right now. Sandeep and like the team there, like I have so much faith in them, and I'm excited. So, and anybody that's ever talked to him has that same feeling. So, I'm feeling good on the projects that are here, and as I said, like just happy to be on Polygon, baby.
Dope, Johnny. Yeah, thanks for bringing that energy. We were listening to PS Labs a bit earlier, and I can hear roosters in the background. That made me think of you because of your farm.
Dude, it's been a little bit wild out here lately. Actually, I was actually just dealing with it like just now. I have a sick horsey, and that's my boy, and he's a little bit sick right now. So been dealing with all that, but he'll be fine. He's a tough one. He's a good bronc. So yeah, it's fun. But I didn't know there was a rooster in the background. That's cool. I like some roosters. They're nice.
Yeah, it's super early for David and PS Labs where he's at right now. So we're hearing some of the roosters in the background there. But to finish off the space here, we got another 15 minutes. Just want to open up the floor if anybody else has any questions for PS Labs about their project. If you got any thoughts on AI and NFTs, please come up. That's something that this year is going to continue to grow. And I feel like we're going to see a lot more of the NFT artists and creators take advantage of AI, right, and experiment and innovate within that ecosystem. Go ahead, Running Man.
Yeah, well, when I was moving up onto speaker, obviously sort of like cut out. But did I hear PS Labs talking about 3D elements or 3D printing in terms of AI as well? I mean, if not, that would be a sick idea.
You can probably hear the rooster right there. Yeah, I was just saying. So I was saying that basically, still images probably like 90% done. in AI. There's sort of little small things here and there for it to sort of little bits to get better on. But the big movement, I think, in 2023 for AI is going to be 3D models. And as a result of AI generated 3D models, you'll see sort of AI generated game assets, metaverses, all these kinds of things. So potentially projects into next year, if they know how to use these services properly, or this tooling properly, they'll be able to create like totally customized free AI generated metaverses specific to every single user. So you can essentially, let someone populate like their entire world with different assets that they can go and make, and we'll see how people use it, or straight up make a 3D collection. I'll be interested to see, because I was using the 3D tooling at the beginning of 2022, and it was really bad. It was really, really bad. It just looked like how you say, just like a mess, that just like sort of melting mess. But now OpenAI just released something called Point Cloud, and this is like an open source 3D model that can basically create. You can go look it up. It'll take me too long to go find it right now, but it's just come out probably about 2 weeks ago, and you can make things like Shiba Inus and Christmas trees and Santa Claus, and they're not super detailed, but if 2023 goes as anywhere as fast as 2022 went, then in the beginning of 2022, still image AI was just like sort of like a distorted mess of things, right? So if I put in like a fire on a mountain, it'll be like loads and loads of mountain tops with loads of fire things coming from everywhere, and it'll be like sort of a winding mess. And then by the end of 2022, it was like a fire on top of a mountain, and it's just like beautiful, stunning image. So it's been like absolutely incredible to see how quickly it's managed to deal with all the problems of still image. I'm absolutely certain that it's going to deal with 3D very, very quickly. And if you look at like the developer adoption on AI in general, text to image AI, it's going to steamroll ahead faster than any Web3 blockchain technology has. Even sort of Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's got like about 10x the initial developer adoption that any chain has ever had. So it's going to go crazy. And I mean, I think someone was talking earlier about OpenAI's ChatGPT model. So you can basically start to create pipelines. So like ChatGPT feeding then into text to image models or 3D models. And so like where this might be useful, for example, you could get ChatGPT to look at everyone's like all the NFTs in a wallet, right? And you can say, you can read like the names of the characters or like traits of it and say like, make me a world based off of this set of traits. And then ChatGPT can make the prompt, feed it then into a 3D model generator, and then you can create the 3D world around your PFP character that's totally designed around the traits of that character. And like that's just throwing out an idea right there in terms of like the way you could build a pipeline using these AI tools. But I think into next year, that's when we'll start to see. So it's not just 3D models we'll see, but like stacks and like pipelines of like 2 or 3 AI models, one after the other, creating some kind of like final product and like general service. So we'll see. We definitely intend to do all sorts of stuff like that. We're already doing it actually outside of Web3 for like, I mean, we're currently pitching. Dior Beauty have asked us to pitch, so we're pitching like an AI pipeline for them But yeah, essentially, like, I think this is where it's going to go. I could be wrong. I think it's going to go in all directions, to be honest. This is just the one that I am focusing on. Or we are.
Yeah, I feel like it's similar to the NFT space, right? Where we have this technology in the back end, but now we just need creators to come in and innovate and and just experiment, right? And try things with the technology and with ChatGPT in the back end, right? And I did see Blender, which it's a 3D art like software. They I saw two different things they were doing. One is to get texture. You can get an AR and you can write like blue cobblestone, and then it can create a texture around a block. And then another thing that I saw is that you can bring in like a template of a house, and then you can say, like a green house with wooden doors and a chimney or something, and then it just creates that whole kind of setup around the house, which was interesting to see.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and I would even say, like, that is kind of like old technology now, even though it sounds ridiculous because it's only like 3 months ago like 2 months ago maybe, that was brought out. Adobe are implementing it natively into Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects. So it's not just the NFT space that is going to see a huge sort of boom from AI. Is going to be the entire art and content industry. And I mean, there's all like, it's not just text image AI. We for example use it to rotoscope stuff as well now. So if anyone here doesn't know what rotoscoping is, it's like back in the day when you film on green screen, you'd have to like cut the person out every single frame, and there's 24 frames per second in a video, or sometimes more. And then so for every single still frame, you have to cut around the person, and at the end, you could put those frames back together again, and you got like a video of just the person moving on transparency. So then we can put that then onto like an underwater scene or something like this. Green screen was created so that we can just key the color green, and then it rotoscopes it automatically. So it's like, oh, just remove the color green in every single frame, and then that's automated, and it leaves you with the person moving around. Probably everyone's here has seen like backstage footage in like things like The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings or something, where they're dancing around on a big green screen stage. Anyway, now they don't even need to do that because AI can just rotoscope. You can say rotoscope the man who's running, and then it will start like cutting out the man in the frame and give you the frames back out again. So it's like not just how you say text image AI in the sense of it like rendering over the top of an image or creating a brand new image. There's all this extra tooling coming out, speeding up all of these workflows and pipelines. I think ultimately, I just hope that people, for example, in Stargaze, when we first went along, we had like a really big impact when we first arrived there, and then there was like a massive flood of AI art that started to happen. And out of that, there were like, some really good projects came out, and now they're doing really well, and they're really good. But there was an absolute torrent of just like rugs and copy, like people just imitating other projects just to trick sort of buyers and things like that. So for me, it was like it was kind of a shame to see, but it's inevitable when like this tooling comes out that's so far, like it can be fast, right? It creates the image very quickly, but hopefully buyers can get some sort of education over time, and that might require them getting rugged a few times on sort of what actually really makes sort of quality art, because obviously we can create the actual image itself very quickly now So maybe now it's going to sort of really revert back to the thinking behind it all, the sort of general project structure, what are the ideas behind the actual work itself, and maybe sort of a bit more of a shifted focus onto that, because the art in general is going to be spectacular, I think. So like, in terms of just having a really beautiful piece, I think there's going to be an abundance, but I think buyers will have to educate themselves on sort of is a bit more around the art, like what are the artists trying to say? Is the voice behind it strong? Is it consistent with the rest of the work? Does the body of work like sit together well? Is it dynamic, or is it very plain? You know, like ask all these questions, and I think that's a kind of like level you might have to start thinking if you don't want to get like rugged too much in buying AI projects.
Yeah, David, and I appreciate all the details that you're going through, because I think that it is important. That education component is something that the artists, the projects, even us as the marketplace have to try and push, right? So that the community can feel safe about interacting with these projects. And as we see Polygon grow, for sure we'll see more projects and more grifters, right? People that maybe are not really interested in the art, but just are interested in the money and the liquidity that is coming into Polygon. So we do need to be careful with that. So let's close out the space. I just want to go around and just check in with everybody, get some last thoughts from you, and then we'll finish out. Matic, man, any last thoughts from you?
Yeah, just again, Edwin, just want to express my excitement about all the things going on in Polygon, express my excitement about PS Lab's upcoming mint. I think it's going to be just epic. We're behind you guys. We're excited about your project, and there's a lot of buzz in the community about PS Lab. So let's go.
Let's go. Narb, how are you feeling, man? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I'm feeling just really same as Matic, man. Just really excited about what's going on in this ecosystem in general. I mean, with so much excitement around this NFTs, it seems like these past couple of weeks has just the Polygon NFT scene has just, come to life, and it's really cool to see. So yeah, really nice chatting with everybody. I'll see you all next week.
Awesome. Thank you, Narb. Running Man, any last thoughts from you?
Yeah, I'll just start. I mean, just going on from what I've learned on Ethereum and then Solana. We're in a free market. Polygon's going to be another free market, an emerging market. You can get, liquidity is the basis and the foundation of that free market. It gives confidence, to the whole ecosystem. So, I mean, I am an NFT trader, but I do all projects. We can come across as, quite callous and unemotional sometimes in terms of project, but NFT traders and form the fundamental basis of a free market, and it gives confidence for recreational buyers, and it provides liquidity into the market. So yeah, embrace the traders coming over. Projects need to understand how a free market works, and traders sometimes need to understand the projects as well. If they work in harmony together, that can create a strong ecosystem fundamentally for recreational buyers and retail buyers. So yeah, that's my sort of early thoughts on Polygon. Going forward, I'll be looking at all the existing projects. I would say if you're an existing project, new liquidity doesn't necessarily flow to old projects. I would look at getting active on the attention economy side of it, in terms of spaces, in terms of just a slight facelift, maybe reinvent what you've previously like I've looked at in the last year on Polygon, and try and embrace the sort of new meta that's going to come, because we are active on Solana. It is an active environment, and we need to sort of probably maybe make some adjustments onto that, and be active in spaces. The projects that do that, I think, will gain the upticks with this new liquidity, for sure. So yes, basically my early opening thoughts, but as I say, they'll develop as I've spent more time here.
Well, yeah, thank you for those thoughts, Running Man. I'd love to stay in touch with you, and I think with your experience as an NFT trader, and you've seen the growth in Solana, I think getting some input moving forward, right, to our founders and our community members, I think that would be very helpful as we prepare for this this growth in the ecosystem here. So definitely let's stay in touch. Ghost, what's going on with you, man? Any last thoughts?
It's nice seeing the inflow of activity coming in, and now we're getting some new mints coming up on One Planet. I'm looking forward to them.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And PS Labs, any last thoughts, any action items that our listeners should take to prepare for your launch?
No, well, just I'm really excited to be that One Planet's up and running again. You got your launch pad going. We're up next. I guess you got a free mint tomorrow, right? But we'll technically be the first paid mint on your launch pad. So it's nervous. I'm feeling at the end of the day, I'm very happy with the work we've done. But obviously anything can happen, and our team have just done such a crazy good job, and I just can't wait to do more and release all the other stuff we have and all the other cool things we're doing, and see what other technology comes out this year. And thank you, One Planet. Let's hope it's just home run after home run, because you got a big few weeks. You got after us Hellcats. Then you got mutants. It's awesome. It's all firing back up again.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that. And we as a marketplace, we need strong teams and creators like yourself. So we definitely appreciate your trust in us as well. We are definitely just getting started with all these projects that are going to be launching in the next few weeks. And aside from the Launchpad, we are also onboarding other projects into the marketplace. Our second project that is going to be using the in-game or their native token is going to be Dose. That's the name of the token, but the idea there is that we're letting the Dustland community use their Dose token to trade their NFTs. So that's coming in behind Tower. So we're excited to continue to add different features to the marketplace as well. But with that, guys, thank you for your time, and it's been cool to talk about some AI and learn some of the details and the craft that PS Labs goes through. He dropped a secret sauce today, so if you were paying attention, that prompt engineering career is yours for the taking. There's going to be a lot of money in there for anybody that likes that type of work. But thank you for your time, and we'll be back again next week, same time, same place. We are going to have PS Labs on the 15th. For a Twitter space called From Idea to Launchpad. We'll have Dave, our other ambassador, come in and talk to PS Labs to learn more about them in depth into their project. So definitely join us with that. We'll release the tweet about that later on. But thank you all for your time again. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks the listeners and speakers. Appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks for joining us for The Landing, One Planet's weekly meeting space. Please join us again next week at the same time.